Hello, Facebook Live. It is your girl, Deshawn Antoinette Booker, your maximizing coach. I jumped on a little early because I like to invite people before I get started. I hope that everyone is doing great. How are you doing this wonderful day? Hope you had a wonderful, what's today? Monday, magnificent Monday. So I'm just inviting some people before we get into what it is I am speaking about today. Yes, yes, yes. Hello, people. How are you out there? I hope you're having a wonderful beginning of your week, right? That all is going well for you in what you are doing with your purpose in your life. God bless you today. Again, I am Deshawn Antoinette Booker, your maximizing coach, and I am inviting a few people. Let's get some people invited. They may jump on live with us right now. They may jump on later, which is fine. No worries, no worries. Let's see. Let me know when you have joined the conversation. I would love to know that you are here with me, that we are going to spend just a little time together talking about how I am recovering and getting things back on track after having a medical injection that took me for quite a ride in my health life, mental, emotional, physical. Wasn't something that I was expecting, wasn't something that I would want anyone else to have to go through. But again, just want to invite a couple of people on board here as I share the part 2 of this story, of my story. Okay, all right, okay. Let me know when you are here. I hope all is well with you. All is well. Let me know how you're doing, how things are going in your world, in your life, what you are up to. How was your weekend, right? Go ahead and just type in and let me know that you are available to be a part of this conversation today with me. I don't want to hold us much too long today, okay? But I do want to get into some important details of the story today and allow you to be a part of my journey and holding a space for people to be educated, right? We always need to be educated more, okay? So just bear with me. I just like to always extend an invitation to those out there. Oh my goodness, I am having a hot flash, I think. Hold on. This is what this is all about. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing, talking about what I'm talking about. And it just happens when it happens. What can I say? What can I say? Let me know when you're with me. I can't see right now because I'm inviting guests to share in this conversation with me today, okay? 1 second, 1 moment. I saw that on my last Facebook Live that I did on this topic, I got so many great responses and people really appreciated the sharing, and that means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. Not just to me personally, but in terms of ministry, in terms of support, in terms of holding that circle for all of us to be truly aware of what's happening and in our lives, right? And what that looks like. So I'm not going to continue. Listen, okay, it's 6 o'clock. I like to start on time. I do. I like to be in integrity. Why not? Powerful thing. I like to be intentional about what I am offering and doing. Okay. Let's see. I'm just doing my thing here. Again, so many people, I was so pleased that so many people were just really inspired, encouraged, touched, and grateful to my sharing. And that means so much to me. And I'm going to continue to share. Like I said, this is the second part, all right? So it's a three-part series to getting my life back after a medical injection, okay? I'm just doing just a little bit here. I know some of my followers really want to be in a part, so I want to make sure that I see their names and get them invited to be a part of the conversation. But a lot of people look at the, what is it called? The replay, which is great, which is fine. Okay, so, and share this, invite some of your friends on with us right now, okay? All right, I appreciate it. Let the women know. One second, everyone. I'm just again inviting guests to be a part of this conversation. I'll get to see who's joined me so far when I am done here. Okay. Gonna share some good information today, okay? I'm gonna really share some good information, talk about some things that are personal to me. But again, I'm just going forward. I'm being obedient. That's what I'm doing. Okay. All right, everyone. I'm done inviting people to the conversation. Hi, Nina. Hello, everyone. How are you? It is your maximizing coach, Deshawn Antoinette Booker. I hope that you will join me for this early evening conversation on getting my life back after a medical injection. This is part 2. So go ahead and invite some people, right? Make that happen for us. Share the video. If you are just joining me, thank you for joining me. If it's your first time joining me, thank you. Share, invite some friends over. We're going to spend, hopefully not too long. I don't want to be too long, maybe 45 minutes, if that's okay. Okay, and I just want you to know. So, as I'm getting ready to go into this conversation, let me know that you're here, number one. Also, I have some of my managing tools here with me. I have a fan right here because a hot flash is going to happen. I have my other fan right here. They're pretty. I have some Kleenex. I have my notes because I want to stay on target. And I have this is water. I have some flavored water. All right. So if that, when those things happen and I need to switch reels and take care of myself during this live, of course, that's going to just happen. So, okay. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Let me know that you're here. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Melissa. Hello, everyone. Listen, take some time. Sit back, relax. Go ahead and get yourself settled. Get some water. Get whatever you like to drink. I want you to sit in your favorite chair. I'm sitting in one of my favorite chairs in my office. I want you to just relax, and I want you to join me in this 3-part series on getting my life back after a medical injection. This is part 2, and part 2 is called transparency. So I'm going to talk about how I'm going to be transparent about the second part of getting this injection. So if you don't know, I did part 1 a couple of weeks ago. Part 1 to this series on getting my life back after a medical injection was on the first part, which was vulnerability. I talked about, what vulnerability means to me, what it is, and how I went through being vulnerable during this whole process. So you need to check that out, okay? I want you to go back. If you haven't seen part 1, it's here on my Facebook page, and I want you to check that out, where I'm talking about vulnerability. And I begin to talk about my history with fibroids. And so there's so many women, especially Black women, who have and are dealing with fibroids. And you all know that already. I'm not trying to talk about something that hasn't been spoken about on so many different platforms. But what I am doing is sharing my story. I've never shared my story. I've never talked about my story. I've talked about it to, of course, my circle, inner circle, close friends, and family. But as, excuse me, I don't like that I keep saying as a speaker. I know I need to stop saying that. So let me stop saying Okay. If my students in my speech class, they would say, Professor, I know you're not saying So I just tickle myself. Nonetheless, I've had fibroids all my life. And so I talk about that in part 1. And so this is a series where I'm now sharing with how I was going through some options to manage the third time of having fibroids. This is my 3rd time having fibroids. And so I'm talking about that. So I'm going to jump right on in. All right. So again, let me know when you're here. I think Facebook Live is so slow. It's behind. I know that it's behind. So I don't know who's here. It's a little bit, difficult to see, but I just jump in. I talk. I'm going forward. Here we go. Again, I'm Deshawn Antoinette Booker, your maximizing coach. I'm the founder and CEO of Maximizing Your Magnificence. I also have a production company called Oasis Ministry Productions, and I also have a nonprofit, Arts Creating Unity Institute. I'm a professor, but I'm a creator. I am a creative being, and so I generate creativity through various channels, which God has always called me to do in my life, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm going to be maximizing my life very, very soon once I get all this underway. Transparency. Let's start there. Transparency. Again, another word that when we hear that word in our community, when we hear that word transparency, we really attach a negative, connotation to it. We say, wow, don't be transparent. When you're transparent, it equals weakness, okay? It doesn't really stand in a position of holding strength for a person, for an individual. But that isn't true. We want to be transparent in our lives. And so I just have my notes here because I don't want to leave out anything. But when we're talking about being transparent, we're really talking about being able to show someone who you are, right? We can see through something that's transparent. But in transparency, we're showing and expressing and sharing our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, and our motives. And we're doing that very easily, and it's very easily perceived by others. So that's really what I'm talking about. And today I'm going to be transparent with you on my entire journey from last July 2018. So as I said, quick recap. I have always had fibroids all my life, since I was in high school. And as a result of that, I've gone through so many different issues, so many different problems with it. And I've had 2 myomectomies, which is where they remove the fibroids, okay? And so I've had 2, and they've come back a 3rd time. I have them right now a 3rd time. And so last summer, July 2018, I went to a woman, OBGYN, who was highly recommended, and I went to her with, hey, what can I do about these fibroids for the 3rd time in my life? I don't really want to go under the knife again. I don't really want to have another, invasive surgery. I just don't. I don't want to do that. And I'm not really ready for hysterectomy. Not that I really still want to have children. Well, I did, but I'm 50, okay? So she talked to me about this injection. And she said, well, we can do two things, Deshawn. You can have this injection, or we can just go ahead and schedule you for a hysterectomy. And in my spirit, I just wasn't being led to have a hysterectomy at this time, at this season of my life. So I trusted the physician, I trusted the doctor, and I said, okay, I'll have this injection. So the injection is what I'm going to talk about today, and really how it affected my life, how it interrupted my life. So the injection is called Lupron Depot. I don't want you to get that confused with the Depo-Vera shot, not the Depo-Vera shot, not that. This injection is called the Lupron Depot shot. And so they give it to you every 3 months. You get an injection every 3 months for 1 year. And you get the shot so that it puts your body into a medically induced menopause. And so I was like, yeah, anything to stop, having a monthly cycle, anything that will prevent me from going through the horror, the terrible traumatic experiences that I go through when I have my monthly cycle, right? Like, yes, let's stop anything. Let's allow whatever I need to allow to stop that from happening. So I agreed to have this Lupron shot, okay? Lupron Depot shot. And I got the first injection July 2018. And didn't know anything. She only said to me that it was going to cause hot flashes. I said, oh, I can do that. I'm a champ. I deal with hot flashes all the time because of the fibroids. She didn't tell me what type of hot flashes. And she didn't tell me all of the other side effects that this shot causes. Now, we know there are side effects to things, but she didn't tell me. I trusted her. I trusted my physician. And so I get the shot, and, again, it puts your body, a woman's body, into a medically induced menopause, so that after the year of coming off of the injection, your body will think, hey, I was in menopause, and hopefully it'll just kick right into menopause for women that are, approaching that stage in their life. So we were hoping that for me, okay? Well, I get it. Things seem to be going okay with me. I started losing my energy right away. Didn't know though what was happening. I had shortness of breath. I was becoming very, very weak. I mean, very, 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 very weak. And I didn't know what was going on. I could barely walk from my front door to my car in the garage. Really. I was becoming very, very short of breath. And I start asking myself, is this my asthma? Because I have asthma, bronchitis as well. And I said, no, I don't think that's what this is. Didn't think anything of it in terms of it being a side effect to the injection. And so then I started getting hot flashes. The hot flashes were unbearable, okay? I was getting hot flashes like you wouldn't even know. Not the regular ones. Remember, this is a medically induced menopause. The hot flashes were so unbearable that I would have to stop completely what I was doing, either lay down, sit down, don't talk to me, don't touch me. I would become dizzy, nauseous. I would lose my memory in that moment. I sometimes didn't even know where I was, what was happening. True story. The hot flashes would come on like needles in my head, right? And needles all over my body. I would have a sickness in my stomach. I would lose my balance. I would lose my train of thought. I would lose what I was thinking about. What am I doing? Wherever I was. And so I said, what the heck is this? And didn't know, right? Yes, I went and I got the black cohosh. I went and got lavender oil, and I was, putting that in my water. I started drinking that. Nothing happened. Nothing worked because I believe of this shot, this injection, which is, medically, which is not natural, okay? So one day I am in my car and I'm having what I will call an episode. And I'm driving my dog Bison to the groomers. So I'm driving Bison to the groomers and I begin to have the hot flashes. And I said, I need to pull over. I can't drive. I can't do anything. And so a friend of mine called me right in that moment on the telephone. One of my dear, dear best friends, sister girls. And she said, hey, sister, what's going on? How you doing? And she could tell something was wrong with me. And she said, what's wrong? What's going on? I said, I'm having an episode. She said, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I said, well, I got this shot to deal with my fibroids. And she stopped me in mid-sentence. And she says, Deshawn, by any chance, did you get the Lupron shot? And I said, girl, yes. How do you know? You know about this shot? And she said, yes. Oh my gosh. She says, sister, I'm so disappointed that I didn't know you were going to get it. She said, you shouldn't have gotten it, but I don't want to alarm you. And she started sounding very concerned without trying to alarm me. And she said, I don't want you to get, upset, but it's just that wasn't a good choice. She further goes on to say, I know some sisters that have gotten that, and it's just not a good thing. She said, I'm going to put you in contact with another sister that we know mutually. So she says, I said, okay. And she said, what are you doing right now? I said, I have to pull over. I have to, center myself and get it together. And she said, I'll call you back. So I'm still driving to take, Bison to the groomers. And she called me back, just worried and concerned. And she said, listen, I made the phone call to our mutual friend. She's going to call you to talk to you about it. And she said, I just want to pray with you because I know what the effects are of this injection that you got. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I do to myself? What did I do? Nonetheless, by this time, I had already gotten a second injection. Okay, second. So I go home that evening. I start looking up this injection. And I further look. I don't just look on one page, right? One page takes me to the next, And by this time, I'm trying to hold it together because I now am reading the information about the Lupron depot shot that is given to women for endometriosis as well as for fibroids. But it's also what they give patients who have prostate cancer. Right, that part. This shot is another form of what they give prostate cancer patients, okay? Right? So when they tell the cancer, patient that they have to have chemotherapy, this was a part and is a form of chemotherapy. So I had chemotherapy all in my system. I need to pause right there because I didn't know. When my friend called me, the second young lady, who our mutual friend, she says, Deshawn, don't get another injection. Her hair fell out. She was sick. She was nauseous. She couldn't do anything. And I said, yes, I have all of those side effects. I looked them up and I had them. I'm going to read to you every single one of the side effects that I had, okay? So, I had memory loss, anxiety, muscle and joint pain. I had nausea, headaches, stomach pains, throwing up, low blood sugar, high blood pressure, low iron, dizziness, swelling of my ankles and my feet. I had insomnia, crippling hot flashes, totally crippling me, clammy skin. I had weight gain, weakness, and depression. So when I say I had, all of these side effects have not left my body. I have most of these side effects still today as a result of getting the Lupron depot injection. The doctor did not tell me about these side effects. So remember I said I started to look it up. When my friend told me to stop, I said, no, I'm not going. I got 2 injections. She said, Deshawn, don't take any more. She prayed with me. Her heart just went out to me. Both of my sisters, they just was just so concerned. And especially this one, because she had had it before. She had the shot. And she said, don't you get another shot. She said, I'm so upset that the doctors didn't tell you this. So as I start telling my story to my inner circle sisters, one of my god sisters started crying immediately. She was just in tears, like, Deshawn, I can't believe the doctors didn't tell you this. She said, you were so little and you have chemotherapy in your body and they didn't tell you this. And so I said, no, she didn't. And it was horrible. It interrupted everything in my life. Everything. This shot interrupted everything. Now, here's the deal. I prayed. I said, God, you can't let my hair fall out. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do if my hair starts falling out, right? Vain, whatever. I said, God, don't let my hair start falling out. Please, I don't know what, I can't let that happen. But I didn't know. And as I read and studied more, I saw the long-term effects to this shot. The long-term. That did everything to me. My gosh, I was just devastated. I was devastated that my doctor failed to inform me of everything. She didn't tell me everything. She just didn't. And so I teach. I'm a professor at the college level. I had to tell my students, we're talking about transparency. I didn't tell my students everything, of course, but I had to tell my college students, listen, I had an injection for something dealing with my with my health, and the injection gives me severe, crippling hot flashes. I said, so students, when it happens, I have to just stop. I have to take out my fan, right? I showed my student, I have to take out my fan and just fan myself. And so they said, okay. I teach at 2 different colleges. And so I had to tell my students, like, every class, because I couldn't push through it. I couldn't act like it wasn't happening. Remember, it wasn't just a hot flash. I would be sick to my stomach. And some people who've seen me out have experienced it. They've seen me in that state. And so transparency, I had to be transparent with my students, my college students. I had to be transparent with some of my family members, just some. I didn't tell a lot of people. I just didn't. And so because I was teaching at 2 different colleges, and it would wear me out. On the weekends, I did nothing but lay on the floor in my family room. I just laid on the floor all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Because I didn't have any energy. I couldn't get up. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't talk on the phone. I couldn't sit and do this. I couldn't sit at the computer and do my work. I barely was meeting with my clients. I couldn't do anything because I had to give all of my energy to my students during the week teaching. I had to teach. I have to teach, right? I have to go to work. And so one day, my dad came over. And I had been I didn't want my dad to see what was happening. So one day my dad comes over to my house. And I go to the door and I'm just sick. I'm sick. And I open the door and he's like, hey, hey, Deshawn, how you doing? What's going on? Maybe he was bringing me some paperwork to sign for some transactions that needed to happen. And I said, Dad, I can't, take this paper where you need to take it for me. But it wasn't just that. I couldn't even stand at the door and talk to my dad. My dad watched his daughter standing and then falling all the way down on the floor. I had to sit with my dad and talk to him at the front door. I couldn't even stand up. And he said, Deshawn, what's wrong? And I just played it off and said, oh, I think it's just my asthma. I'm just a little sick. I had no energy to even stand at the door and talk to my dad. And I knew this isn't right. This isn't right. And so, I tell him, Dad, you got to go take this paperwork for me. I can't get in the car. I can't try. He said, oh, no worries. No, of course, I'll take this for you. But I started seeing my health go down. I started debilitating. My health was debilitating. It was debilitating. And I'm not that girl. I'm the girl that works out, that's energized, that has, good spirits, high spirits, that's active. And I couldn't do anything. And I wouldn't tell a soul. I didn't tell too many people. Just my inner circle. That's it. That's it. Another friend called me, and I shared with her what was going on. And we'll talk about what she did for me in just a moment. So people would call me and call me and call me and call me, right? And I will share just some of my story. Then I started to fall into a deep depression. Me, the maximizing coach, the woman that helps other women become unstuck, the woman that helps men become unstuck, the rah-rah, right, for everybody else. I became so deep into a depression, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't. I cried myself to sleep, only to be awakened throughout the night with the cold sweats, with the hot flashes, with the nausea, with the headaches, with the stomach pain, with the muscle and joint pain. And so the muscle and joint pain, on December the 9th, I woke up and I couldn't move. I woke up, I got out of my bed, and I couldn't walk. I had muscle pains in my ankles, in my joints, in my knees, in my legs. And I thought, is this because I was going up and down the stairs at my college, right, where I teach? And I said, no, you didn't really even do that. I said, what? And I remember one of the side effects was severe muscle and joint pain. So on December the 9th, I had that side effect. And it was entirely in all of my joints and my muscles. So I could barely walk. I couldn't wear shoes. I was nauseous. I was sick all the time. I couldn't remember things. My students had to help me remember what we were just talking about. My students were my backbone. My students were my backbone. And I'm so grateful for all of those students that semester. They were my backbone, because I would lose where I was. So I'm depressed. I'm going through this depression, and I'm blaming the injection. I'm blaming my doctor. I'm blaming myself, right? Excuse me. I'm blaming the fibroids. I'm blaming society. I'm blaming my uterus. I'm blaming God. I'm blaming. And I'm just depressed. I can't write. I'm working on some scripts. I couldn't write. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't take on any new clients in my coaching business. I was barely seeing my clients. Some of them knew. They didn't know all of what I'm talking about today, what I'm sharing. And so, right in the middle of a depression, the God we serve is a mighty God. But God also has a way of saying, not today, not today. God had me in the middle of my depression get a phone call to come to a theater in Santa Monica and direct the musical Little Shop of Horrors. I've directed at that particular theater before, years ago, and a play. I directed Intimate Apparel by Lynn Nottage years ago there, and they called me. I get a text, actually, from Larry Giesling, the director of the theater. Deshawn, are you interested in directing Little Shop of Horrors? We're in the bind. We need you. And I'm going, God, direct. I can barely walk, talk, breathe, teach my classes. And here it is, you're saying I'm getting ready to go and direct a full musical? I can't do it. But because I was so depressed, God had to get me out of that depression, right? Right? You know it. He said, I can't have you laying around like you're literally, I don't mean metaphorically. I was laying down every weekend, all weekend, because I was in pain. I couldn't do anything. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to direct this musical in the middle. And so what happens? Another opportunity for me to be transparent. I had to tell my producer, my stage manager, the production team, and the actors to some degree what was going on with me. I said, listen, when you see me pause and have to sit, I can't do anything else. I directed this musical, Little Shop of Horrors, that ran for 5 weeks in Santa Monica here in California. And it was phenomenal. It was. But I said, God, you have a way, don't you? You have a way, God, of saying, I'm not going to let you fall, Deshawn. I'm not going to let you go down this hole. No, I'm going to pull you back up. And I'm going to, Deshawn, give you an opportunity to do the very thing that you love to do in the midst of this trial, in the midst of what you're going through. I'm going to let you see that I got you. I'm going to let you see that you are still the woman that I've caused you to be. I'm still going to let you see, Deshawn, that you are a creator, that you are anointed, that you can go and be a visionary and put this show up. That's what God said. That's what God said to me. Hot flash. That's what God said to me. And I couldn't believe it, right? I couldn't believe it. I'm having a hot flash right now. I said, God, you mean you would have me? You would have me, God, in the middle of what I thought was my desert. Bring me an oasis. Come on now, somebody. Come on. You would have me in the middle of my pit that I thought I was in. Turn that around and make it not be a pit, but a time to celebrate, a time to show out that I'm not by myself. I said, God, I can't believe it. You guys, listen. I would be at home, right? I got to share this. I would be at home. Because see, as a director, you're a visionary. You're blocking the play. You're blocking how people are going to move, how you're going to stage it. You're a visionary. You're a creator. And on top of that, you're doing all this other stuff, right? Hot flash. This is what it looks like. And so I'm at home trying to direct Little Shop of Horror, a musical, first of all. It's not just a straight drama, a musical. Lord Jesus. I would be doing this, but I would really be on the floor. I would be sick, nauseous, physically sick, emotionally sick, and throwing up and directing this play. I said, God, you are so awesome. And no one knew that. I didn't tell a lot of people. I told, again, my closest circle. That's probably like four women. And I got through it. I said, okay, God, I see you. You're not going to let me just be depressed. You're not going to let me give up, God. That's not the God that you are. You're just not going to do that. You're not going to do that. And out of that, so many blessings came out of directing Little Shop of Horrors. I just need to say this because I know that she's watching. I met my assistant. Listen, y'all, I've been waiting for God to bless me with a personal executive assistant for over 5 years. And she was the stage manager for Little Shop of Horrors. Evelyn, you are the bomb. We were supposed to meet today, but I couldn't, Evelyn. She is just not the bomb. She is my life savior. And I went through that, and it was great. But I met Evelyn, my personal executive assistant, that I had been praying to God for so long, because I just can't do all of what I'm doing at the level that I need to do it and execute with excellence without an assistant. I met this beautiful woman there. Evelyn, I'm so grateful to you. I'm so grateful to you. I knew she was going to be my assistant the way that I saw her executing the show. But let me tell you something. She took care of me on so many levels during that show, during that production. I said, I'm going to offer her this, and hopefully she says yes. And she did. And so I'm very grateful. One moment. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to Evelyn. So out of that, God said, I can't let you be depressed. I'm going to show you who you are, and I'm going to bring your assistant to you that you've been waiting for and praying for so long, right? And so, what a blessing, what a blessing. But God wanted to show me that He is always in control. We got to remember that, ladies and gentlemen. We got to remember that. God's strength and power got me through. Got me through. It was a struggle, but it got me through. And so now, God has me preparing both medically, right, and holistically for my healing. For my healing, okay? So I'll make sure that's there. For my healing. And I want to say this to you. I don't want you to think that you don't have to see a medical doctor. We do, and we should. But you can also look at holistic approaches to your health as well. But you don't want to just choose one over the other, right? You don't want to do that. And so I began my holistic journey. One, a friend of mine, my girl, another one of my angels. God was sending me angels all the time. And so one of my angels came through, and she started talking to me about some holistic procedures with a woman that works with women with fibroids. So I had that conversation with the woman. I started to get on board with that, okay? And while I'm looking at the holistic, approaches, I now have a physical therapist. I'm seeing my main physician. I'm seeing a new OBGYN who has me on a different route to my medical healing process. And I'm just trying to make sure I don't leave anything out. So I have an entire team. I have the muscle and joint specialist. And so as we were waiting, my doctors, for this injection to completely leave my body, we didn't put me on any medicine. So I was still going through all of the side effects. So I had to have a lot of blood work done because I was still having the muscle pains and the joint pains and all the other things. So in that, I have some of the long-term side effects to the injection. And I know we say don't claim it, but I have to say what I am dealing with right now. I am in prayer, of course. So I have been diagnosed thoroughly, and I have fibromyalgia and arthritis, which are long-term effects to the Lupron injection. Now, listen, some people may have seen me out, and I'm walking stiff. I can't really get up quickly. I have, the pain, but I am doing a lot of holistic work. I have my holistic team, my holistic practitioner, Miss Rhonda, who is phenomenal. So I get my Reiki treatments from her. I'll give you guys all of the information. She's phenomenal. She's right in Westchester. So I have a Reiki specialist. I'm also, let me look at all my notes. I don't want to leave anything out. I'm also beginning to see a woman named Monisha. She does a 21-day wound cleanse program for women. A 21-day wound cleanse for women. So I'm going to start some work with Miss Monisha. She's amazing. People know who she is. You can, she's on Facebook. You can Google her, and Rhonda is as well. Rhonda Jabari. Okay. I'm doing also a warm water treatment that a group of Japanese doctors have qualified to have said, they've confirmed that warm water is effective in reducing some health issues. So I'm doing the warm water. I'm going to be seeing Monisha for the 21-day wound cleanse for women. I'm seeing my practitioner, my holistic practitioner, Rhonda. I'm also doing the apple cider vinegar. I'm doing some detoxing. And I've started back working out. I can work out because my physical therapist got on me. His name is James. And James said to me, you have to stop blaming the injection, Deshawn. He said, you have to stop blaming the injection. I said, well, all right, James. Let me tell you a little bit about me and James. When I first started going to James, I was mad at James. I was mad at everybody. Because James kept asking me, where's your, pain, Deshawn? Where's your pain? And I said, it's everywhere. And he would say, well, what can't you not do? Show me what you cannot do. And I was doing all these things. He said, but you look great. You're flexible. I said, that's because I've always been active. I said, that's because I have great muscle memory. I said, but you need to hear me. I'm in pain. I'm suffering. I said, James, I told this to my physical therapist. I said, James, you need to talk to me from your heart space. He looked at me like, who was this woman? I said, you need to talk to me from your heart space. And he breathed, he took a breath in and breathed out, He exhaled, and he looked at me and he said, okay. He said, Deshawn, you need to stop blaming the injection. You are stuck mentally because you were blaming the injection. I said, well, all right. He then shared with me a story. This is my physical therapist. He shared with me a story about a friend of his who had an accident, a car accident, and was paralyzed. He said his friend then, shortly after having the accident, and his friend was paralyzed, the friend lost his father. His father died. He said his friend was just a wreck. Can you imagine, right? The depression that this young man was in. And so James, my physical therapist, shared with me that they would do everything to help their friend so that their friend would no longer be in this depression. He said, but his friend had to redirect his mindset. Now, that's the very thing that I teach on as a coach. I teach from that platform of your mindset. So when James said that to me, I got it. He said, Deshawn, once my friend changed his mindset, once his friend stopped blaming the accident, blaming God, he changed his mindset and started to do some healing of the mind first, and then of the body, the physical, and then the spiritual, emotional, and mental. He said today his friend is no longer paralyzed. When my physical therapist shared that story with me, I got an aha moment. I had a transformational experience. He said, Deshawn, you have to stop blaming the injection for where you are today. And I said, okay. And so I started taking steps, moving physically, breathing, eating differently. All of these things I started to do because I did not want to remain stuck, okay? And so as a result of me now on my holistic and medical journey, I am dealing with the arthritis. I am dealing with the fibromyalgia. I'm not taking any medicine. No, the only thing I was taking was these pills for vitamin D. I'm not taking anything. My doctors, all of them agree, medical. They said, we're not giving you anything because you don't need it. We're going to do other work with you, Deshawn. We're going to get you through this, Deshawn. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to my medical team for pushing me through and standing with me. So right now, my new OBGYN, Dr. Moon, and I are exploring some other surgeries that are not so invasive that I could have to deal with the fibroids. However, I am also in the holistic approach to my situation as well. I am also going to go get some things, not some things, but go ahead and start on some other natural herbs for the hot flashes. And prayer, prayer, prayer. And I'm so grateful to my angels that are a part of my circle. They know who they are. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. But I want to say this. I want to leave you with this before I go. When I saw the OBGYN last year, right? When I saw her, I was in a place of desperation. I was in a place of desperation. And as a coach, I teach a message, a lesson on desperation versus assurance. I teach that. I wrote it. God gave it to me. I teach from that place. And so when I went, though, to see the OBGYN last year, I went in there from a place of desperation. I want you to get this. I was desperate because I was in pain. I was suffering. I didn't believe I had any more options. And when we are operating from a place of desperation, we see no other options. We believe we're suffering. We are in a place that is moving us. We're being motivated from all of our five senses. When you feel like you are desperate, you are seeing the way things look, smelling the way things smell, hearing the way they sound, talking about what's happening, and you're feeling, right? The way that it's feeling. You're an emotional person, and now you're emotionally attached to something, and you feel desperate. So when I walked into that office, I was so desperate that I didn't ask the right questions. I didn't take a minute to pray, to pause. I'm not saying that God punished me. I'm not saying that it was my fault. I'm giving you the teaching in all of this, the teaching, the lesson, the outcome, the breakthrough from the breakdown, okay? And so I realized later that I was operating out of depression, yes, but I was operating from a place of desperation and not assurance. Assurance is a place of trust. Assurance is a place where you are in self-awareness, consciously. Your conscious is there, but you are trusting God. And I wasn't trusting God. I didn't. I was like, God, you don't know what you're talking about. Let me go see what the man is saying. And the Bible says, do not put your trust in man. I wasn't operating from a place of assurance. I wasn't assured on my faith, sure from the scriptures that I know. I had just let all that go to the wayside. I did. And I was in a place of desperation. And so I had to learn that that's where I was in hindsight. And I had to ask God, then what's the lesson today? God said to me, you know the scriptures, Deshawn. You have a personal relationship with me, my child, and always have. And I do. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding, but in all thy ways do what? Right? Trust in the Lord. Lean not to your understanding, right? And lean not to your understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not into your own understanding. Don't lean to your own understanding. We are to do what? Seek God in everything. Acknowledge him in all of our ways. I did not acknowledge God in that moment to decide, should I get this injection or not? I didn't acknowledge God. I didn't. I'm not saying that God then blamed me or punished me, but I didn't do what I know. I was not in assurance. Acknowledge him in all of our ways, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing left out of all. There's nothing left out of all. Nothing. But now then God said, you know what? Don't worry. What the devil meant to hurt you, Deshawn, what the devil meant to keep you down, what the devil meant for bad, for worse, right? For evil. The scripture says it. Romans 8:28. What does it say? All things work together for good for those who what? Love the Lord, who love God, who are called according to his purpose. I am called according to God's purpose. So all of this is working together for my good. I'm here right now sharing this with you. God said to me I was going to share this. He spoke to me when I go to the doctor. He said, I want you to start documenting this because you're going to document your testimony. I couldn't see it as a testimony then. I saw it as a test, but it became the testimony. And so I'm sharing this with you so that you can go and share with someone else and share with someone else that we must educate ourselves. We must trust God. We must know that even when you're in that valley, when I was on that floor here in my house by myself, not because I was prideful, just because I'm private. When I was here on the floor, couldn't get up, dizzy, sick, nauseous, and thinking I was going to just go into an abyss of depression, God said, no, you're not. My child, my daughter, I have you. I have you. I want you to know that. We don't have to operate from a place of desperation in anything in your life. We operate from a place of assurance. Assurance. The scripture says it. Acknowledge him in all thy ways, and he will direct your path. So he's directing my path. He's directing my path today. Yes, stand on the word of God, someone says. But sometimes it's not just saying that, it's how do you do it? How do you do it? And so I want you to know the how is standing in assurance. So I come to you today, sharing with you how I had to be transparent in this journey, in this journey, in this journey. So listen, I am so grateful. Oh my goodness, it's so late. I am so grateful that you have allowed me to share this with you and that you are a witness to my journey. You are a witness to my experience. Now let's go and empower others by sharing the video. Let's go empower others by having the conversation. I'm going to come back next Monday and do part 3. Now I'm saying that because, well, I'm pausing because it depends on how I'm feeling. I can't do a lot during the day and then do this because it just takes a lot out of me. So I'm going to plan my day accordingly next Monday. And I want you to be with me next Monday at 7. I have to do it at 7. And I'm going to share the empowerment component of this series. Okay? I didn't talk a lot, to those of you that came on. I'm going to read the comments and respond that way because I just want to just jump in here and share it. But I'm so grateful to everything that I have overcome and that I am overcoming. I'm not going to allow my diagnosis to be my reality. I got that from my friend Sir Collins. I'm not going to allow my diagnosis to be my reality. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. So keep me in your prayers. I'll keep you as well. I'm always praying for the community. I am. Share this video. And as I always say, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I am an overcomer. I'm just reading some. I am, and so are you, and so are you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the thumbs up. That's right. That's right. I am not my diagnosis. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing. Listen, we have to know that God is real. And this is not my pity party. This isn't that. God told me what to do, and I'm being obedient with sharing this. I didn't want to share this with you all. Then I have to go and post this video in my email campaign to my community there. I didn't want to share this. I just didn't, we don't. But I'm good with sharing it. I'm good. Because I am an overcomer. I am. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world, right? Right? Yes. So, God bless you. Thank you so much. Please share the video. I love you for watching. If you're watching what does it call, you guys? See how Flash makes me the recast, if you're watching the replay, child, I'm telling you, you just saw it in real time. Like, what is this called? If you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Thank you. Right. Magnificent Mamie, thank you. The replay. They like, it's called the replay to show. I love it. Listen, we got to be authentic. It ain't about being perfect. It's about always seeking excellence. I always say that. It's not about being perfect. Now, I'm not going to start coaching. I may start coaching. It's not about being perfect. It's about striving for the spirit of excellence. Excellence. That's what it's about. So share this video. I'm going to go and get me some yogurt, because I said when I get through with this, I deserve some yogurt. So I'm going to get Bison. We're going to go get some yogurt. Bison's right there. I'm going to go get some yogurt. I love you. God bless you. Thank you again for being a witness to this journey, for being a witness to my sharing, to being a witness to this conversation. I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted, okay? I love you so much. As I always say, life does not happen to you, but life happens for you. It just does. Smooches and deuces. Continue blessings to all of you as well. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you.